Welcome to Brazil. Since the 16th century, this land stretching between tropical forests and coastal cities has been a meeting point of indigenous, European, and African cultures. That blend created Brazil's identity, seen in the colonial streets of Salvador and in the rhythm of samba echoing across Rio de Janeiro. Every year, Carnival turns the streets into a stage of music and dance, reflecting the open and vibrant spirit of the country. Traveling through Brazil is not only about discovering vast natural landscapes, but also about experiencing a culture that is always in motion. And now, the journey begins where nature reveals its raw power. Iguazu Falls. Located on the border between Brazil and Argentina, Iguazu Falls is one of the most spectacular waterfall systems in the world. The Brazilian side is protected within Iguazu National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1986. The entire system includes about 275 waterfalls, stretching nearly 2.7 kilometers along the river. Formed millions of years ago when ancient basalt lava flows created high rock layers and the river carved deeply into the terrain. The name Iguazu comes from the language of the indigenous Guarani people, where Y means water and Guaçu means great water. According to legend, the waterfalls were created when the serpent god Mboi split the river in anger to stop two lovers from escaping, forming the powerful cascades seen today. At the center of the falls lies the Devil's Throat, Garganta del Diablo, a massive horseshoe-shaped gorge where hundreds of streams plunge from a height of about 80 meters. From wooden walkways that pass through mist and viewing platforms on the Brazilian side, visitors can see the full panorama of the falls spreading across the Atlantic rainforest. This forest forms a rich ecosystem where species such as toucans, tropical butterflies, and South American coatis often appear along the trails. From above, sightseeing helicopters reveal the entire waterfall system like a vast maze of water within the forest. Beyond its scale and beauty, Iguazu is also a reminder of the geological forces that shaped this landscape over millions of years. Leaving behind the mist and the thunder of the falls, the journey continues toward an isolated paradise where volcanoes and the ocean meet. Fernando de Noronha. About 350 kilometers off Brazil's northeastern coast, Fernando de Noronha is a volcanic archipelago made up of 21 small islands rising from the deep ocean floor. The basalt islands were formed by underwater volcanic activity millions of years ago, creating steep cliffs and the clear turquoise waters that define the archipelago today. Since the 16th century, the islands were contested by several European powers because of their strategic position along Atlantic shipping routes. The Portuguese later built a network of coastal fortresses, including Forte dos Remedios, which still stands today and serves as one of the main scenic viewpoints on the island. Fernando de Noronha is especially known for its rich marine ecosystem. The surrounding waters are home to spinner dolphins, sea turtles, and hundreds of tropical fish species. Bahia do Sancho, often ranked among the most beautiful beaches in the world, stands out with its high cliffs and emerald-colored water. Visitors must descend metal ladders through narrow rock openings to reach the beach, creating the feeling of entering a hidden bay. Beyond swimming and snorkeling, a unique experience is watching dolphins at sunrise in Bahia dos Golfinhos, where hundreds of dolphins often gather close to shore. At sunset near the rock formation Morro dos Irmãos, two towering sea stacks become the iconic silhouette of the islands, ending a day of exploration in a vast and untouched ocean landscape. From the deep blue ocean, the journey rises toward a cool mountain plateau that feels like a small piece of Europe in southern Brazil. Gramado. Located about 120 kilometers from the city of Porto Alegre, Gramado is a well-known mountain town in southern Brazil. The town sits at an elevation of around 800 meters above sea level and enjoys a cool climate rarely found in a tropical country. The landscape is covered with pine forests, lakes, and winding roads across the hills, creating scenery that often reminds visitors of alpine towns in Europe. Gramado's history is closely connected to waves of European immigration during the 19th century, particularly from Germany and Italy. These communities brought their architecture, traditions, and cuisine, gradually shaping the town's unique character. Wooden houses with steep roofs, flower balconies, and small squares inspired by Bavarian design make Gramado one of the most European-style destinations in Brazil. The town center is built around Avenida Borges de Medeiros, where visitors can see São Pedro Church, a Gothic-style structure made from basalt stone. Nearby lies Lago Negro, an artificial lake surrounded by pine forests and quiet walking paths. In autumn, light fog often settles over the water, creating a scene very different from the tropical beaches typically associated with Brazil. Gramado is also known for seasonal festivals. Nataluz, a Christmas celebration lasting several weeks at the end of the year, transforms the entire town into a stage of lights with parades, music, and elaborate decorations. Local cuisine reflects European influence with dishes such as fondue, German sausages, and especially handmade chocolate, a specialty that has earned the town the reputation as the chocolate capital of Brazil. Leaving behind the small town among pine forests, The journey moves south toward a vibrant city where granite mountains meet the sea. Rio de Janeiro. On the Atlantic coast in southeastern Brazil, Rio de Janeiro is one of the cities with the most dramatic natural landscapes in the world. The city stretches between ocean bays, granite mountains, and long sandy beaches, creating a rare blend of urban life and nature. This unique geography led the Portuguese to establish the city as a major center in the 16th century, and it later served as Brazil's capital for nearly 2 centuries, from 1763 to 1960. One of the city's most famous symbols is the Christ the Redeemer statue on the summit of Mount Corcovado, rising more than 700 meters above sea level. Completed in 1931, the monument is now considered one of the new 7 wonders of the world. From the viewing platforms around the statue, visitors can see Guanabara Bay, Rodrigo de Freitas Lagoon, and the sweeping curves of beaches along the Atlantic coast. At the entrance to the bay, the granite peak of Sugarloaf Mountain rises almost vertically from the sea. Operating since 1912, carries visitors to the summit, where panoramic views reveal small islands, boats in the bay, and the golden reflection of sunset across the water. Life in Rio is deeply connected to famous beaches such as Copacabana and Ipanema. Along the shore stretch distinctive black and white mosaic promenades where locals gather to play volleyball, run along the coast, and listen to samba music. The beach culture of Rio reflects the open and energetic lifestyle of Brazilian society. Each year before Lent in February, Rio enters the season of Carnival, the largest festival in Brazil with spectacular samba parades at the Sambadrome. More than a famous tourist event, it is a powerful expression of the city's musical traditions and vibrant spirit. Leaving behind the bright lights and lively beaches, the journey now moves deeper into Brazil's wild landscapes. Chapada Diamantina. In the center of Bahia state, Chapada Diamantina is a vast plateau that forms part of Brazil's Espinhaço mountain range. The area is protected within Chapada Diamantina National Park, established in 1985, where valleys, caves, and hundreds of waterfalls spread across the semi-arid landscape of northeastern Brazil. The terrain was formed from ancient sandstone layers hundreds of millions of years old, gradually eroded over time to create steep cliffs and deep canyons. The name means Diamond Plateau, a reference to the diamond mining boom of the 19th century, when valuable gems were discovered in the region's rivers. Thousands of miners and merchants arrived, forming mining towns such as Lançois, which today serves as the main gateway for visitors to the park. One of the most iconic landscapes in Chapada Diamantina is Morro do Pai Inácio, a solitary sandstone mountain rising from the plateau. From its summit at about 1,100 meters, the vast stone valleys and flat plateaus stretch to the horizon, especially impressive at sunset when the cliffs glow red in the fading light. Poço Azul and Poço Encantado are famous underground lakes known for a natural light phenomenon where sunlight passes through cracks in the rock, making the deep blue water shine like crystal. During the dry season, visitors can swim or dive in water so clear that the bottom can be seen even dozens of meters below. With its network of trails crossing mountains, waterfalls, and wild valleys, Chapada Diamantina has become one of Brazil's most exciting destinations for trekking and nature exploration. After exploring the towering sandstone peaks, the journey pauses in a historic port town where time seems to stand still along its old stone streets. Paraty. Located between the Serra do Mar Mountains and the Costa Verde coastline, Paraty is a seaside town founded by the Portuguese in 1667. It once served as an important port along the Estrada Real trade route. When this commercial route declined in the 19th century, Paraty gradually became isolated from major economic centers, allowing its historic district to remain almost completely preserved and later become a well-known cultural destination. The center of Paraty is known for its cobblestone streets and white houses with window frames painted in blue, yellow, or red, a classic architectural style from the Colonial period. A unique feature is that many streets in the historic district were built slightly below sea level, allowing the rising tide to wash through and naturally clean the streets. A remarkable urban planning solution from the 18th century. Surrounding the town is the rich natural environment of the Atlantic forest, or Mata Atlantica, one of the most biodiverse ecosystems in South America. From Paraty's harbor, wooden boats take visitors to explore small bays, rocky islands, and beaches hidden within the rainforest. Places like Ilha Comprida and Lagoa Azul are famous for their clear waters and nearshore coral reefs, ideal for swimming and snorkeling. If you had one day in Paraty, would you wander through the old town or head out to sea to find a quiet, hidden bay? In July, the town hosts FLIP, Festa Literaria Internacional de Paraty, one of the largest literary festivals in South America, attracting writers and readers from around the world. As the quiet charm of the seaside stone streets fades behind us, the journey continues through history toward Brazil's first capital, where African rhythms and colonial colors create a vibrant identity. Salvador de Bahia. On the shores of All Saints Bay in northeastern Brazil, Salvador de Bahia is one of the country's oldest and most culturally rich cities. Founded by the Portuguese in 1549, it served as Brazil's first capital for more than 2 centuries. Thanks to its strategic port on the Atlantic trade routes, the city became an important center where European, African, and indigenous Brazilian cultures met and blended. The historic heart of the city is Pelourinho, a district recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1985. Steep cobblestone streets wind through small squares and colorful pastel colonial houses. São Francisco Church, famous for its intricate gold-covered Baroque interior, stands as one of the most remarkable religious buildings in Brazil. Salvador is also considered the birthplace of many Afro-Brazilian cultural traditions. In public squares and along the beaches, visitors often see performances of capoeira, a martial art blending music, dance, and movement that originated among African communities brought to Brazil during the colonial era. Local cuisine clearly reflects this cultural mix. Dishes such as acarajé, fried bean cakes filled with shrimp and spicy sauce, are commonly sold by women wearing traditional Bahia clothing at street stalls. Every February, Carnival in Salvador transforms the entire city into a massive outdoor celebration. Music trucks parade along the coastline while millions of people join the festivities, creating one of the most energetic street festivals in the world. From the lively squares of the city, the journey moves toward the final destination where historic hills and winding canals meet the sea. Recife and Olinda. These two historic cities sit close together along Brazil's northeastern coast, yet offer very different atmospheres. Recife developed as a major port city from the 16th century, while Olinda, only about 7 kilometers away, grew as a religious and administrative center during the Portuguese colonial period. Together, they form a distinctive cultural region where history, architecture, and coastal life blend together. Olinda was founded in 1535 and quickly became one of the most important colonial centers of Brazil thanks to the sugar industry. Its steep cobblestone streets lead past brightly painted houses and many 17th century churches, creating a historic district recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1982. From the hills of the city, visitors can look out across Recife and the long Atlantic coastline stretching into the distance. Carnival here is famous for the energetic frevo dance and the giant puppets known as bonecos gigantes that parade through Olinda's streets. Music, dance, and crowds in colorful costumes transform transform the historic district into a lively festival that lasts for days and reflects the spirit of northeastern Brazil. In contrast to historic Olinda, Recife developed as the region's commercial and maritime hub. The city is crossed by a network of rivers and canals weaving through its districts, which is why it is sometimes called the Venice of Brazil. In Recife and Tigo, historic squares, museums, and waterfront streets create a vibrant cultural area where visitors can stroll past colonial buildings, hear street music from small bars, and feel the rhythm of life by the sea. The journey through Brazil gradually comes to an end. From powerful waterfalls and wild plateaus to colorful coastal cities, each destination reveals a different side of the country and together forms a rich and diverse landscape. Thank you for joining us on this journey through each destination. If you enjoy travel stories like this, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss future adventures. We hope these images and stories not only help you learn more about Brazil, but also inspire your own journey one day. If you had the chance to visit Brazil, which place from today's journey would you want to explore first? See you in the next journey, where another land with completely different landscapes is waiting to be discovered.